guys, welcome back to my channel, Shelf Life Extension. My name is Alexis, and today we're going to be doing my March wrap-up. So I've been pretty much averaging out about 3 books per month. So just like the last couple wrap-ups that I've done for the year, I have 3 books I'm going to talk to you about today. Now, I'm wearing this cool beanie here, right? It's a Mickey beanie. It's got some little baubles on the top. I got it for super cheap because, you know, discounts. And also, it's ridiculously cold in this house, and I am so ready for it to not be cold anymore. I'm ready for the spring to get here. It's so close. It's like, it's close. It's getting there. The green is starting to sprout. Flowers are starting to bloom. I'm just so ready for the warmth to show up, especially because I was really hoping to get like some sort of transition for when I moved to Florida in June. But I don't think that that's necessarily gonna happen because it's still cold. And I know that the moment that I get over there in June, it's gonna be hot as balls and I'm gonna be dying. And as much as I am so ready for the warmth, I know that the moment that I get there, I'm gonna like regret saying that. I know for a fact. But either way, I'm super excited. Alright, so to start off, the first book that I finished in the month of March was The Everything Box by Richard Kadrey. Now what was really cool was that during the time that I bought this book, Richard Kadrey happened to be in Seattle at Emerald City Comic Con, which I was unable to go to this year, which is really sad. I really wanted to, but I like legitimately can't afford, I just can't do it. So couldn't go, but I thought that was pretty cool and it was like fate. He was here, I discovered the book, I had to get it. So yeah. I actually noticed the second book on the shelf. It has like this really cool yellow cover, and so the moment that I read that and I found out that it was actually the second book, I was like, oh, gotta get the first one. Now, to describe this book, back in the day, in the time of Noah and his ark, after the flood had come, an angel descended from the sky with a little device to further destroy any remaining human life. But luckily for humanity, the angel was an idiot and lost the device. So fast forward to today, the angel is still wandering on Earth trying to find his device to complete his task of wiping out humanity. But it just so happens that he's not the only one who knows about this box anymore, and that there's a few different people who want this box as well. So this story takes place obviously in a world where supernatural beings exist. Not a lot of people really know about it, or they just don't necessarily register that these things, that what they claim to be is actually real. So like vampires, you know, demons, ghosts, all that good stuff, it's there, but a lot of people just kind of like, nah, I don't know, but nah, they just like don't really accept it, but it is there. And so enters a man named Coop. He is a notorious thief. He just so happens to get caught. Actually, he gets backstabbed by one of his friends and gets caught during a heist. He goes to jail, and he goes to a jail on an island that is for all sorts of supernatural criminals. He actually gets out early, and while he's trying to get himself back on his feet, he gets propositioned by the Department of Peculiar Science, and they want him to steal something for them. He doesn't know what it is, but in doing so, he gets himself caught up not only in the angel's way, but also in between these two cults who are like sworn enemies who want this box for themselves so that they can bring about their own apocalypse. It's so funny because it has this like really particular tongue-in-cheek humor about it. There's like lots of scenes and lots of moments that are like really drawn out, and the dialogue is just back and forth, no pause, and it flows, and it's just so ridiculous what they talk about and how ironic a lot of things are, and how just like it really gives you an idea of like how cults who believe in these impending apocalypses and these whatever deities that they believe will come when the apocalypse does happen would really operate in today's society. There's just a lot of stupid stuff in here, but it's just so funny to read, and it's just a lot of fun. I gave this book about a 4 and a 5, although I really did love it, and it was really easy to kind of get through. There were some moments where it was kind of slow. Didn't really get like kind of maybe what the point of it was. And also it's like, as much as I want to read the next book, I definitely don't need it right now. So I definitely suggest everybody should go ahead and check this out. It's just super ridiculous, and it's just super funny and campy. But yeah, as much as I want that next book, I'm gonna hold off a little bit. Yeah. So the second book that I finished in the month of March was Delia's Shadow by J.D. Lee Moyer. Now this was a book that I had talked about a few videos back. It was like on my Top 5 Wednesday recent additions to my wish list. I really enjoyed. It's a ghost story. It's a supernatural story. It follows a woman named Julia Martin and how she can see ghosts in her everyday life and how she kind of flees from San Francisco to try and get away from it, to try and, you know, really come into her own so she could figure out how her sight works and like what she can do about it. But while she's away, a ghost that she termed Shadow starts haunting her, like legitimately haunting her. So like, not that she was doing anything bad or like, you know, any poltergeist kind of stuff, but that like for a lot of the ghosts that she sees them, but they don't necessarily see her. Whereas with Shadow, she's like staring her down, like she's like, I see you. And so it's like they know that they see each other and Shadow just follows her. So it's just like she doesn't know necessarily why this ghost is there, what she wants. She can't speak to it. The ghost doesn't speak, and she really doesn't want like the ghost to get near her because she just doesn't understand kind of like what's the point, and she doesn't want to like let the ghost in because that could be dangerous for her. So she decides to return home to San Francisco to kind of figure out what's going on. And maybe like there's a way that she can seek help from her friends to kind of like rid herself of this ghost that's following her. Now the entire story takes place in 1906, pretty much right after the Great Quake happens in San Francisco. So there are a lot of ghosts kind of meandering around the society and the place because everything's destroyed, a lot of people died. But as you come to find out is that this ghost is trying to warn her of this serial killer in San Francisco who has gotten away with pretty much all of his crimes because pretty much all the evidence is gone after the quake, and how he's just getting away with it again and again. So as she shows up in San Francisco, she becomes more aware of what the ghost needs and what they want because she starts getting like different premonitions and different feelings from the ghost, and kind of leading her and giving her more information as to what happened and what she can really do to try and stop this guy from doing anything else, and figuring out like what he had done before, what he did to Shadow, and how to find the proof. So I definitely really enjoyed this book. It was a pretty quick read for me. I started reading it on a Tuesday night and I finished it that night. I really enjoyed it. I like how vulnerable Delia is as a character and how she just kind of challenges herself to really take on her duty and like her gift and really face it head on and be the one to actually experience what these ghosts, and in particular Shadow, experienced at the hands of this killer. So definitely cool. I'm really glad that I picked it up, and I highly recommend this to anybody who's interested in like a really cool ghost story. So, and the last thing that I finished in the month of March was Hearthstone by L. Catherine White. I freaking loved this. Okay, just look at this little blurb here. All is fair in love and dragon fire. Yes. It's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but with dragons and griffins and wyverns and it's so cool. I freaking loved it. But I'm gonna give you this little blurb here, right? Because you know, like that quintessential first line, they reworded it here and it says, they say a rider in possession of a good blade must be in want of a monster to slay, and Marybourne Manor has plenty of monsters. So the moment that I saw this on BN.com, I was like, hells to the yes. Hells to the yes. I, of course, love Pride and Prejudice. It's one of my all-time favorite stories and one of my all-time favorite romance, period. So I'm like, any retelling I am down for. So I needed this in my life. So obviously, if you know the story of Pride and Prejudice, you know kind of like the whole layout of the story, but I really like the way that they restructured kind of the family and how they introduced the rich society as those who are dragon riders and they're slayers and they're warriors, and it's like super cool. To give you a little bit of a backstory, it's a lot like Pride and Prejudice and zombies, and that they're at war with griffins, pretty much. Griffins are killing off people, they're like invading their towns and just all this stuff, and so they need these slayers and dragon riders to help rid themselves and their town of these griffins that are destroying so much. So pretty much the town of Marybourne Manor is in need of some slayers, and they just so happen to get Alistair Darrett, who signed on for the project, along with Mr. Bingley, which is actually Master Brisney, and his sister, and a couple other people who are part of the group, and how they bring along their dragons and wyverns and horses, and it's pretty cool. But the main difference is that, especially from Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, is that Eliza isn't in any way, shape, or form a warrior or anything, which I think kind of helps add into the entire Pride and Prejudice storyline a little bit more, considering that their stations really are different. From him being a warrior, a very wealthy warrior, picked by a dragon rider, you know, thing, and her being just a common person. They do have a word for them. I can't, like Nakla, I think it was prose. It just means someone who isn't a writer. But yeah, what I really enjoyed about this is the amount and range of these fantasy creatures in there. Obviously, again, I'm gonna repeat what I already said. Dragons, griffins, wyverns, trolls, hobgoblins. What else they got in here? There was a couple other things that I'm probably blanking on, but there's a lot, and it's really cool because everything is distinct, and the way that they can interact with each different species is different as well. So whereas with the hobgoblins, they actually have their own language, and Eliza can speak that language. With the dragons, they do have a different language, but they can also speak physically to you and also mind speak to you as well. So it's really cool. Like, it's a lot like Aragon in the sense that, you know, to be addressed by a dragon or to speak to them directly is like a really big honor, because generally they speak through their writers. And to become a writer, you have to pick your dragon, and the dragon has to pick you in return as well. So it's a really cool dynamic. It's a really cool world. I freaking loved it. It's like I was hooked pretty much from page 3 and on. I was like so ready for it. It was a nice quick read. There was a lot of nuances to it, and the way that they just weaved in the Pride and Prejudice story is just really great, and I just freaking loved it. So again, if you guys love Pride and Prejudice, I definitely suggest this one. I loved it, and oh, I loved it. So that is about it. I read the 3 books for this month. I loved all of them. If you have any questions or you know anything about the books or anything about the authors or anything else, just go ahead and leave me comments down below for me and I will try to get back to you. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions as far as like stuff that you'd like me to do, I say please let me know. Otherwise, that's about it. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye! But to give you a little bit on the story, pretty much what happens is, it's a lot, it's